something like that.
Yeah,
did I have to, cut corners? What should I do?
Yesterday, I posted something. I said that never get tired doing the right thing.
Okay.
Never get tired doing the right thing. So, first of all, what we need to ask ourselves here is this. One, just the fact that you are alive today is a sign that God loves you and you are a winner. Number two, maybe you had certain expectations and you've been working at it and you haven't achieved it. If I were in your position, I would sit down, because what I'm doing is to take a critical look at the past 6 months to see where I started from, where I am now. I do growth assessment. I do goal assessment. I do vision assessment. Since I started the year, what are the things I have accomplished? What are the things that I wrote down that I was working on, that I needed to achieve, that I haven't achieved yet? Then I have to look at why I couldn't achieve it.
Thank you so much for joining me today. We are very, very excited about the show today. It's going to be very educative. And as you know, Woman of Influence, the purpose is the things that we cannot address in church, we use this platform to address it. So today we are going to look at AI. I know a lot of us have heard it. We don't even know what it is. And it's good to educate ourselves so that we can improve in whatever we are doing, to do it very well. And I'm so excited to have one of the, what word did I even want to use? The best of the best, smart, intelligent than AI itself. Joining me on my platform, I'm very, very excited. What a privilege to have her joining us. So we have the CEO and the founder of WellBridge, which she's going to touch on it a little bit, but it's a company that is coming up to really help us to figure out pastors, ministers, small business, everything that you are doing now to really help us to get it to the next level. So please share the video, tag it. We are on Instagram, on Facebook. Share it with your friends in a group. Just take a lunch with us and let's do this. I know today is going to be a blessing. I have my husband here too. But Woman of Influence, please help me to welcome Bishop. Bishop is here, and also to welcome Richard, who's going to help us to talk about what AI is. And so I will let her introduce herself with all her long, titles and everything.
She's just a brilliant, smart. I just met her, and already I wish she lives in Georgia. I'll probably be inviting her once a week just to tap her brains.
Yes.
I like smart people, and just the fact that she likes to deal with hard subjects. There are some people like going to school, but they like, easy subjects. But these are brainy stuff. If you are dealing with sciences,
and engineering, you need to be brainy to be able to do that. So we are glad to have Rachel here today. So we're going to give Rachel the opportunity to introduce herself, what you do, how you got to this place, before we start the conversation.
Thank you so much, Bishop and Mommy. Hello, Facebook family. It's so exciting to be here, and artificial intelligence is a topic that is very, very close to my heart. I came across the word artificial intelligence back in 2017, and it was, at the time, it was just a conversation in a family group chat. My auntie had just dropped an article about how much AI engineers were being paid. So that was quite intriguing, and I started researching into it. But I noticed how complex the subject was. So I almost didn't pursue it and almost gave up. But then I came across a quote from Mark Cuban, Shark Tank. And it said, at the time, the quote read, whatever you are studying now, if you are not up to speed on AI, deep learning, you lose.
Wow.
Because we are nearing a time where software will automate software, and automation will automate automation. So at the time, my background had been in biomedical engineering, working for the pharmaceutical, biopharma, life science industries as a clinical research associate, and then fast forward to scientific communications. So I would say that at the time, I was coming from a non-technical background and trying to understand AI. So it sounded very difficult and very far off. But then coming across the quote, I pursued it.
Wow.
Yeah, so fast forward, when I completed, I noticed the gap between non-technical and the technical teams, which is the engineers who are developing the AI systems. So that is what brought me here and led me to, form the company Wallbridge. So the goal of Wallbridge is to help non-technical business leaders understand and implement AI.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because when you think about the AI ecosystems, the businesses are the ones that are end users, but these are intelligence systems that are coming with a wave of new ways of working, and we ought to learn.
So today, will you be able to help us to the ordinary housewife?
Yes.
How can I use AI to improve my cooking skills and all of that? But just before we proceed, still trying to know you, two things. You mentioned that in a family group chat, your auntie mentioned how much people were earning from that.
Yeah.
Are you coming from a family background where you guys are into learning and doing great stuff? Because if your auntie was introducing you to AI, that means that she's also somewhere there.
So I don't come from a big family of learned individuals, but what I would say is that by God's grace, there are some members within the family that went further than the family was supposed to be. So I have one very smart auntie called Eugenia,
awesome.
And she's an engineer herself, has been for so many years. So our little group chat was actually a group chat from a family group chat.
Oh.
So that comprises of my aunt, my sister Anita, and then 3 of her children and things like that. So we were all in a professional field. So she came across the post on LinkedIn and she dropped it in. And I think at the time I was the only one that got interested in there. So she's a huge part of my AI journey and my story.
And the second question I wanted to ask, still with that, how was the transition from your background as a pharmaceutical researcher into becoming an expert in AI? How was that transition?
So very complex. very complex.
Are they 2 different fields?
They are 2 very different fields because AI is mathematics and programming. So some schools will
You already lost me.
Yeah.
Richard, can you believe that today I still have nightmares about me going to take mathematical exams or tests? I'm telling you, today.
Yeah.
It's one of the subjects I struggle with. So anything mathematical, I don't want to get into.
No, so AI is predominantly mathematics, statistics, and programming.
Not a usage though.
No, not as an end user. So this is what the engineers have to be concerned with.
That's good.
So for the end users, it's very fun and very fascinating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I just wanted to mention that so that we will know that it's not magic.
Okay. That's good. So let me ask my first question. How can you break down what AI is and how it works?
Is your mic on?
Yeah, is my mic on, guys? My mic is here.
Okay.
It's not. So, how can you break down? How can you break down to the AI, what AI is and how we can work it out?
Okay. So let's break it down piece by piece.
Yes.
And feel free to stop me.
Yes.
And so I'm going to make sure we get to the bare bone of it.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay. So just as the name implies, artificial intelligence is man-made. So it's computer systems that have been developed by humans, to learn from data.
Okay.
To learn from data to be able to make decisions and perform certain tasks. So as I was mentioning earlier on, humans, so these are all powered by the mathematics. I'm sure you've heard something called algorithms.
Yes.
Yes.
So algorithms, the whole big word means steps,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
recipes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So when you're about to bake a cake, you have your ingredients, recipes that you follow. So algorithms in the AI world means the steps that the process follows. But these are all powered by mathematical functions and programming logic that only the engineers know what they are doing, but then you move through these algorithms that, essentially steps.
Okay.
And what they are trying to do with those algorithms and everything else is just to get the computers to think, reason like humans. So far, they've been able to train computer systems to learn from data, and that's the only way they can learn information. So I will also explain how we got here in the first place, where is this information coming from? So if we quite remember, in the 1990s, we got into the internet age, and everything changed. Everything that was paper moved to digital. Social media evolved. We moved to apps and things like that. So all of that evolution generated lots and lots of data, which is information about you, about me, about mommy, out there. So before, if I wanted to see mommy, I have to know her house. I have to know her. Now I can go to her social media and I'll see an image of her. I will at least see where she pastors. I may see who her children are. So the information about her is out there. So our health records move to digital. Now if you need your health records, it's just a phone call away, and they can fax everything to you. Isn't that fascinating? Before it was paper, you have to go to the hospital, they have to mail it to you, and things like that. So all of these things happening, and then now we also have high computer power. All these apps, so things like GPS, when they were all being generated, were all to bring us to what modern AI looks like today. So now we are living in a world that is called big data world, and that is because information is out there, massive of it. So these computer systems, for their specific task, have been trained to learn from all of these information that are out there already.
So then, two questions. The first one is, where is all these things started from? You before we started the show, you said these things started in the 50s.
Yeah, the 1950s.
And some of us are just beginning to hear of it. And you jump into it in 2017.
Yes.
Some of us, we keep hearing our AI, this AI. And so I started looking into it probably like 2 years ago when the name started popping up. Where did the genesis of AI in particular start from?
So, as I mentioned earlier, it was at a conference on Dartmouth campus in New Hampshire.
Okay.
And at the time, scientists, the name is not really coming now, but that's when they were testing to see if computer systems can think like humans. So as that experiment was going on, I think they were having some success. And that's how, we already know the word intelligence.
Yeah.
So they coined the word artificial intelligence back in the 1956. So since then, we've fast forward to things like GPS. So the development of GPS was just a system learning roads, addresses, and being able to navigate
so
itself.
all those things are part of the AI family?
Evolution.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The evolution of AI.
Okay.
So when you study the history, you see that things were being developed piece by piece. So as we moved to the internet world back in the 90s, when data boomed, we enjoyed social media. We put our information out there. We shared. So now getting information is very easy. And these computer systems were also being developed hand in hand. So now being in the AI world is just the scientist making good use of the data or the information that is already out there.
Richard, hold it there. We're going to go on a break.
The
And then
room.
when we come back, we'll pick it up. This is getting exciting, and I'm learning a lot, and I still have a lot of questions because today I must become AI intelligent before I get out of here. All right, let's go on a break. We'll be back.
Hands of Grace Outreach is dedicated to changing the lives of orphans, women, widows, and children by showing the love of Christ. With your continued support, we've been able to provide numerous shipments of food, clothing, goods, and finances to those in need while strengthening the kingdom of God. As we strive to help alleviate human suffering and improve the quality of life, we are in constant need of your generous contributions to help give hope and a future to so many. Our projects and reach has grew tremendously over the past few years by the grace of God. Just recently finishing the completion of a community bathroom in a remote village in West Africa. And we are so grateful that there is so much more to be done. The pastors that we support in remote villages are always in need to help those in their community while continuing the work of God. Consider partnering with Hands of Grace today as we continue to make an impact in the lives of God's people. No amount is too small, because what may seem small to you is big to someone else. To donate or make a contribution, visit our website at www.handsofgraces.com. That's www.handsofgraces.com.
Oh, thank you so much for coming back. Please, if you are joining us, you're just joining us, we are talking about AI and how it helps us to do everything that we need to do now. Whether we like it or not, that is the world that we are going in. And sometimes what I have noticed is things like this, sometimes the church is the last group or the last people to jump in when others are using it to help with so many things. Personally, I use it on my social media, I use it for tests, I use it for other things, but that is the little that I know. So when I get to know that I have somebody courtesy of who my CEO, Anita, that, I can get a lot to do with what I'm doing. I'm very, very, very interested. And if you have been watching, you see how Bishop have taken over the show because he is very, very, very interested in this. And we are just happy that we have the opportunity to do. We are on YouTube too, so if you're home, this is a great thing. But please make sure you share it so somebody will get to know. After the show, she will share her information, and she just launched the company, so they are doing everything. And when it's ready, you can book her to come and talk with your team and all this stuff. The best is here. So thank you so much for joining me, and please continue to share the video. So we will go back. Bishop was asking a question before we took the break, so you want to take it from there?
I think that for us, or believers and Christians, and those who are hyper spiritual and they try to demonize every technology that comes out there, I believe that we have to take a break and look at this again. It's not everything that is demonic. Everything that God has or gives brains to people to invent, it can be used for good and it can be used for evil. It depends on who's using it. All right? Just like social media. There are people out there using social media for the purposes of advancing the kingdom, and there are those who also using it to scam people and to do devilish stuff. I believe that this is a great opportunity for us to learn from one person who has studied this. This is a field. All right? All right. So, Rachel, where were we before we went on the break? You were talking about how we have evolved and got into this place. All right. Continue.
Yes. So, I think what is important to learn from here is that we are here now.
Yes.
And it wasn't by magic. Yeah, this has a long standing dating back to the 1950s. And we've actually enjoyed the benefits.
Yeah.
When we had...
For me, let me admit this, that you are now making this to make sense to me.
Okay.
That it's been evolving.
Yes.
And this is where we are now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a possibility it could even get better because scientists and engineers are always pushing.
Yes.
They are always learning. They are always discovering. They are always trying to see what more can we do, right?
Yes. Yes. So what we have now is actually scientists making better use of the data we have. So a classic example I can bring our mind to, and I shared it at the lunch, Mommy, is the COVID vaccine. So typically it would take a pharmaceutical company 10 to 15 years to develop one drug from inception to go to market. Imagine if that had to happen when COVID hit us.
Would have all finished. Would have been finished.
So the drug development cycle starts from the lab, then it moves through 4 phases of research process. Traveling to different countries to test the same drug before FDA approves at the 3rd phase, and then go to market and test again and things like that. If we had to do all over it, and the tests are actually done on human.
Yeah.
The first phase is to test for safety, and it's done on human. Some people die.
Wow.
And a pharmaceutical company can do all of this and not get approved by FDA. Billions of dollars lost. So during the COVID era, scientists found better use of the data that we have already, and in about 6 months, a vaccine was developed.
So AI was involved.
AI was involved.
Oh,
we wouldn't have been able to do it without. So AI learns from data, as I mentioned several times earlier, and it is able to predict, study the patterns of what is going on. It is able to predict, and that's why now you are seeing things like AI was able to detect breast cancer 6 months. Or 6 years before it actually happens, because now they can study your health history within split seconds,
A particular individual or the lineage.
No, the AI,
Yes,
can.
I'm saying that the AI can study a particular person or the lineage of the person.
Yeah, it can study you, and even better if we have more information about your family history. And that is because if we put 100 files in front of you right now about mommy, how long will it take you to make sense of all the files?
It's going to take a long time.
Yeah. Now with computer systems and the algorithms, it can be processed within minutes.
Hold on 1 minute. No, I mean, let's say the part that AI is able to help to predict that someone, based on the information, there's a likelihood you're going to be having cancer.
Yes.
Yes.
Like how is a doctor able to tell that you are close to getting diabetes? Based on your health history. So the doctor has gone through your files, study your historical health data. So that it takes the doctor a lot of time to do that for one person. AI can process that for thousands of people within minutes and few hours.
Wow.
So where we are now, what I really want people to understand is these are scientists making good use of the information we have, and by so doing, they have been able to create systems. So there is an AI for almost all the functional areas. So if I have to bring it to the bare bone, there's an AI that talks.
Hey.
That's where we have Siri.
Oh.
Alexa.
Yeah.
So that is all in the AI world. That is called, like speech recognition, natural language processing. So we are able to translate languages from from one to the other. So we have the AI that walks. So that is where automation. When you go to Amazon warehouse right now, there are robots. So when you think about robotics, that's AI embedded in hardware systems.
Wow.
So we have the AI that sees, for cameras, computer vision. That's what it's called. And then we have AI that is able to, study patterns and make some predictions called pattern recognitions. So there is AI for almost all the functional areas. And by so doing, they've been able to create systems that we actually enjoy. When you see an automated vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, I have one in my house. I like that one.
So let me ask a question right here. So is that why people are saying that it's coming to take our jobs?
Yes. So that's a good observation, and that is actually, it's not to instill fear.
Okay.
And the goal of AI is not to take or eliminate jobs. It is to eliminate tasks, repetitive tasks. And in the grand scheme of things, those are things that we don't even want to do.
Anyway. Yeah.
Writing email.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you get an email, sometimes it gets you so upset already. You're sitting there thinking about what to say.
Yeah.
Now, with a system called generative AI, that's where we have the ChatGPTs, the Gemini, the Claude, and things from. They are all under an umbrella called generative AI. They are able to generate things.
Okay.
And all of that. So an example I can give you is you have ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
So ChatGPT, when they first released it in 2023, so that was it being trained with almost every information on the internet, Google, everywhere, for it to be able to learn and provide responses. So all the questions that we ask ChatGPT during the training process, they might have shown similar things. So as I said at the background, only the engineers understand the algorithms and the functions and the programming logic behind it. But it's been trained to study all that kind of information, hundreds and hundreds of questions being thrown at it. And then now, when it is validated and it's out now as ChatGPT, we can ask questions and it can produce an answer. So if you've noticed, though, there are certain questions when you ask it, it tells you, a large language model, I don't know this. That means it hasn't seen such information before.
Okay.
But now that it's in our hands, it's actually being trained.
Okay.
Okay.
So we are still training it. The more we interact with it and the more we ask it questions, this is us giving it more information to learn.
Oh, wow.
And it's not scary.
Okay.
It only means don't give sensitive information about you.
Oh, to the.
Don't.
Okay.
That's not a good idea.
Okay.
To give sensitive, because it's still learning.
Oh.
So you are okay with reply to this email for me. What is this? What is that? How can I do this? How can I do that? Those things are. But as of now, it's not a good idea, especially if you don't have an enterprise version to feed it some sensitive information about you.
So let's break this thing down now. Ordinary me. How can I take advantage of AI to benefit me as an individual? From my everyday tasks, chores, things that I do, how can an ordinary person with a smartphone take advantage of AI?
So it actually depends on what you do. So
Okay.
as I mentioned earlier, there exists an AI for almost every functional area
I'm
of
a
our lives.
hairdresser.
You are a hairstylist. That's a good one.
Yes.
So now with the evolution of AI, when we come to your salon, one of the things we struggle with is middle parts. Do we want, like when we are going to braid our hair,
Yeah.
or we are going to weave middle parts, side parts? What style should we do? Short, long, Now there are AI systems that can be embedded in your phone, and it comes in the form of mirror, so you can actually interface with it to see how it looks on you. So for me, one of the things I struggle with is blonde hair. So I can see how a middle part blonde hair will look on me before I waste your time. So things like scheduling. Scheduling everybody needs a chatbot if you have any form of business. So you can have a whole personal assistant built for you. So an AI that can screen your calls. So not all the calls should come to you. So we can train an AI system to provide basic information about your salon, opening times, prices, so that when a call is routed to you, the client actually means business.
Guys, are you listening? Okay.
So you will now be eliminating things like, what time do you open? I can't pay $100. So you can have a bot that will screen all of those calls, so that when a call is routed to you, the client is actually ready to work. And as I mentioned earlier, when you go to places like China, Japan, it's already happening that they are now using systems to, test the styles before the hairdresser actually start working on it. Because how many times do fights erupt in salons because they didn't like how the styles looked on them? So even in the beauty world, now when you go to Sephora, before we used to go test the lipstick, how many products were wasted? Diseases being spread. Now when you go, there's a mirror.
Yeah.
Even online, you can just check how a red lipstick look on you before you make a purchase.
Wow.
So these are all things that we are enjoying, but in hindsight, AI is making them easier.
Okay. So I have another question. When it comes to ministry, typically, before we came in my office, how to check on church members, sending emails, follow up, church promotions and all those things. How can we use that?
I was going to ask, with the one that you just shared with the hairstylist one, can AI tell you a potential trouble member? that you can avoid?
How for you?
Because the way it treats people.
It has to have some type of behavioral information.
You have to put in it.
So that can happen in the
And then the
sense.
second one is like dating, like those dating apps. Are you able to find out a potential person who can break your heart and how you can avoid the person? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it thrives on learning.
Okay.
You know, so a system can it can be trained, and as I'm talking to you, they probably exist already.
Yeah.
You know, so a system can be on the app to learn how people answer the questions, and based on how they answer the questions, it will be able to tell you.
And this one is
Troublemaker.
Yes, it's coming to break your heart.
We will take another break. Please share it. As I said, this is a great information for all of us to know. I was enjoying her in my office. You know, she says that even your voice can be so that when you are talking to follow up with church members and everything like that, it's your voice saying, oh, how are you, but it's not you. You know, things like that. It will help with our work. So please share it. We'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please, next week we're going to be in New York, Overcoming Faith, for a week of revival. So next Tuesday I will be in New York. But guess what? 26 is about relationship. We're talking about the heartbreak. I think AI will come and help us on that show. We're talking about heartbreak and some of the things that some of our singles are facing that is very, very heartbreaking. I have a story that was sent to me that this lady was with this guy, and even the night before his wedding, they spent the day together and the night together till the morning. And he says that you are not a married material, so I'm going to go to the altar. And it's sad, but she went there and did something. So we want to discuss it. How can we avoid those things? So 26 is Saturday. That's a special edition. I have Dr. Kwame Frimpong to come and help me. Bishop is going to be here himself. So it's going to be a very, very wonderful show. But today, AI. I am so excited about this thing. 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 Saturdays ago, that's when Doug or engineer Richard, her business was launched. I was there myself. When I came home, I told my husband, I have been in a high place today. the group of intelligence in the room and how they break things down for us, it was just amazing. And for me, I think that where we are in ministry, in life and everything, if you want to do more for God, these are some of the things that you want to educate yourself. And that's why we are having the show today. before we go, she will give you all the information you need. So if you need her, please, Women of Influence have approved it 100%. You know, I don't just bring people here, 100% that she can help you to do what you do best. All right? So let's go back
There's a question here by Sister Dana.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Sister Dana. Today's
Yeah, happy birthday, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. She asked a very important question. Are there any disadvantages with AI, for instance, in regards to a person's privacy?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, so that is very important because it's, like I mentioned earlier, you can't put your information out there, you know.
When you say your information, what do you mean?
Sensitive information.
Yeah.
Like your date of birth?
So every information that you don't easily want people to
to
know.
No.
Yeah, because as these systems are in our hands, they are still learning.
Okay.
So they
Explain the learning part. the learning part I don't understand. So they're looking for information. So anything you feed it, they're working with.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So your information becomes a response to somebody's queries.
Okay.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So it's fine when we are interacting with it based on articles, Bible, because those are all universal information that we all need and utilize, you know. But then if you can't give it your health records with your name, address, and everything for it to process, because it will be able to tell you what is wrong with you, because we used to ask Google. You know, so somebody may be so overwhelmed and just pick his or her own whole, you know, medical data and just input in ChatGPT for ChatGPT to predict what it is. It's not a good idea, you know, because especially if you are using the free version of ChatGPT, there's a reason why it's free.
Okay.
You know, because they need training data. You know, so when, so for instance, there's a version of ChatGPT that can be built for the church.
Yeah.
You know, so that way, the security systems will be very different from what is out there, like the free versions of ChatGPT or even the premium versions of ChatGPT. When it is built for the church, they will barricade it.
Okay.
You know, so you can interact with it.
There's enhanced security around it.
Yes, so AI systems do come with securities, but you know, if you are operating on the free version, it's not a good idea to give it company data, you know, company information, because you'll be putting your company's information out there and putting it at risk for competitors.
And everybody will know.
Yeah, everybody will
get to know whatever you are putting in.
Yeah, because if assuming somebody else queries. So a classic example is, I was with somebody that wanted to know about, you know, how AI works. So I was interacting with ChatGPT and I used that as an example. So I asked, as an example, that's not his real name, but I said, who is Robert so and so?
Yeah.
It was able to give me so many information about Robert, where he lived, you know, where he worked, who took over his company's meetings he's had, and because those information were readily available online. You know, but then I asked, how many children does Robert has? He said, I don't know. There's no information. Then I said, Robert has 3 children, namely. So I went back and then I said, how many children does Robert have? It told me.
Okay,
that makes sense.
You know, so that means when my sister goes into ChatGPT and asks how many children does Robert has, Robert so and so, same name, has of, you know, when she describes, it will be able to tell it because I have given it that information.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Wow. That
so
is good.
Coming back again to the benefits of how an ordinary person can use it. And I also like the fact that you were explaining the various types of AI for different industries and different phases of life. I'm a pastor, I'm a Christian, and I prepare sermons every Sunday. There are sometimes your brain is tired, but then you know what you want to say. How can you because I've been to conferences where some pastors were preaching and teaching against, pastors are becoming lazy now, they don't want to pray and wait on God, and they want AI to generate all their sermons for them. How do we balance this from your expertise?
So again, so for me, I don't think we should, especially when it comes to the house of God like this, because a lot of things come to play. Because from what I hear, sometimes you say what you are led by the Spirit to say. So now, what AI can do for you in that sense, it can enhance the message. So you went into the waiting room, you got the message to be preached, but now you can interact with ChatGPT to give you more language, vocabulary,
Good. I love that. I love that.
Perspective, examples, and things like that. So it will enhance what you already know.
So for me, I see it like learning materials, like the dictionary, concordance, and all these things that we use in preparing our sermons. Right? You ask AI, what's the meaning of these? And then it's able to give you the various meanings.
So when you think about what it can do for us, these are some words that you should know. Augmentation, amplify. So it amplifies what you already know.
Perfect.
I like that.
So you saw my book years ago. It would have taken me months to be able to write it. I did the entire book in a month.
Wow.
That is amidst everything else that I was involved in. And I was interacting with my language models based from strategic perspective. I already had the idea, but I couldn't really brainstorm to the brim what I wanted to say. So I interacted with it, and it would give me some words. It would give me, some examples, perspective. And I was able to ride with it, and I was able to, I don't like this, I like this. So when you are very intelligent and strategic, your outputs from the models sound very, very different from, somebody who is.
Okay.
You understand? So it amplifies what you already know and what you already think. So let's bring it back home to, like the roles AI plays in various places in our lives. So even in terms of business, when you think about it, think about efficiency, profitability, time saving, cost eliminations, and things like that. It doesn't mean you couldn't run your business, but now you are running it more efficiently. Because, listen, when you hire teams, sometimes look at the headache they bring you. With the age of AI, there are so many things that you can automate. You can automate emails, that's admin, scheduling, follow-ups. So when I did my event, I was supposed to send follow-up emails, follow-up calls. All of those processes can be automated now. Now, one thing that I wanted to bring our minds to is assuming somebody wanted to start a business right now. Now, you can create your own logo.
Without needing a graphic designer.
Without needing a graphic designer. You can do all your mock-ups, colors. You can do so many color mock-ups, even if before you interact with an artist. You can do flyers. You can design things like this and get it with AI. So it helps you, especially if somebody wants to start a business and say, I don't have money. Oh,
AI will save you all those
all of
works.
those, so you can at least get something started. You can put a logo out there, you can put a flyer out there whilst you are putting yourself
Things
out there. You
together.
can create a whole video ad out there. The first video I put out for my company was actually generated by AI, and I sent it to my sister's artist to just put my logo on it. So if you look at it, look at the production cost eliminated.
It's interesting you said what you said. Recently, I realized that even Zoom have embedded that.
Yeah.
And StreamYard. I use StreamYard to do my morning broadcast. And then when I'm done, it tells me if I want to break it down to shorts. And it generated about maybe 5-6 shots. And it's intelligently captured moments during the 1 hour presentation. And it has the writing on it. I was amazed.
Yeah.
I was amazed how it was able to generate that. So for me, I think it's a plus.
Yeah.
If anybody who's in ministry wants to employ it, it will really help.
Yes. So even in ministry, as I was talking to Mommy in the room, so in ministry, the administrative task can go away. So if we needed 5 people to keep up with members, now we can have an AI system and 1 person supervising it. So that leaves church leaders the opportunity to actually interface with people from the emotional perspectives, actually talking to people. So all the administrative work, and then now we've actually gotten to the point where we have AI that can take initiatives, and we call them agentic AI.
Like what kind of initiative?
Yes, so I'll give you 2 examples.
Okay.
So currently, if you want to send an email using AI, you copy, paste, and then ask it for a reply, and then you paste in an email. So with where we are now, with agentic AI system, they can read the email, figure out a reply for you, and send.
Whoa.
So another example is that when you have like a normal camera in your house, and maybe even now with AI, you can train it to alert you when there's a suspicious activity. Now with an agentic AI camera, they will not only alert you, but they will also call the police.
Whoa, okay.
So what I really want everybody to get out of it is we are here now, and it's only going to improve. So it's time that we have to learn about it and figure out ways that...
Rachel, what do I need to learn about AI? What qualification can everybody use AI?
So many, this is what I think about business leaders and, you've done all your learning already. So what I've observed with many business leaders is that they hire an insight partner. Just tell me what's going on in my world. I don't want to know healthcare, but like, what is it that has to do with my operations that I need to know? And then we tell you. So for that, we start you with some of the basics, and then we tell you, we kind of show you what the AI landscape looks like, and then what does it look like in what you do.
So is that what your company does?
That's what our company does.
Oh, okay.
So coming here, I looked at so many areas that the church can benefit from with AI. And as I was discussing with Rev in the room, sermon translations.
Okay.
Very, very
Spanish
easy.
to other-
Very, very easy now.
No, that I'm interested. Because I just had a strategic meeting with some people in my office on Sunday, and I'm saying that, looking at Benin right now, where our church is located, the Spanish population is increasing and growing. Basically, in this environment that I find myself, there are a couple of times where Spanish people have come, they realize I was just English speaking, and I've lost them. So how can I integrate AI, me speaking English here, but then it's able to translate it to Spanish or French to a congregant sitting in the service?
So maybe subtitles can happen in real time.
Okay.
And then, the whole sermon can also be transcribed in Spanish.
Okay.
And even after the sermon, it can also be transcribed in Spanish as blog posts for the social media. So now it's easy to even have the English platform and the Spanish platform, because it's very easy as ABCD with AI for the sermon to be translated in as many languages as. What people don't know is that even ChatGPT, as we have, you can tell it something to give it to you in Chi.
Okay.
I've done it. I've done it, and it worked.
Oh, wow.
So I told it to, because I was trying to get one of my friends to have a platform where she will talk about AI in Chi. So I told ChatGPT to give me an explanation of AI in Chi, and it did an amazing job.
Wow.
Better than somebody. So language translation is a very huge way that the church can leverage AI. And then, of course, all the administrative tasks. Because I'm also a church worker, and one thing that I find difficult to do is follow-ups. So one time I called a member, and I was trying to be lively. So, what are you doing? Did you go? How is work? She said, I don't work. I said, do you go to school? He said, I don't do anything. Then I got stuck. I didn't know what else to say. So from then, I didn't want to do any form of follow-up again. Because come to find out, that was an 80-year-old woman I didn't know.
Oh, my.
So that just took me out of the church follow-up, But now, the age that we are in, all of those follow-ups can be automated.
Yeah.
And I find that people actually love it when it's a robot that they know, and we can actually mimic mommy's voice. All we need is mommy saying 5 seconds of something with the voice, and it can be used to build a system that calls people to follow up. How are you doing? It's not like we are lying to them that it's they know it's a robot. We give it a name, and then it calls members to check on them, how they are doing. And then it will also record if, based on the training, if there's maybe if a member is sick, note it down so pastor can follow up. So all of that processes can be automated, sending emails and broadcast. All of that can be automated. So there are so many fascinating ways that the church can. And I think one thing that I experienced yesterday was, the story of Hagar. Somebody has done it with cartoons. So now the sermon can also even be broken down for different age groups, audiences. Some can be done using cartoons. Some can be done to favor the aged, people with disabilities and things like that. Now, all of that are very, very easy to do. So those are some of the ways that.
Wow. What an insightful session. Now, all too soon, the time is up. But before we go, will you tell us more about yourself and your business, and if somebody have learned something and want to get in touch with you, Rachel, and how you can coach them, assist them to perfect their knowledge, or even take their knowledge of AI to the next level. Just share with.
Yes. So before I share my information, I wanted to say that they shouldn't be scared of the AI age, especially if you are in a career. Just treat AI as a next level. How is AI playing a role in the same career that you are in? So assuming you're a project manager, you're a software engineer, what is AI doing in your specific domain, and just treat AI as a next level. You don't need to.
Is the knowledge of AI usage going to be a requirement for hiring people in the future?
Yes.
So that means that
Yes.
everybody who's looking for
Yes,
a
but
job
they don't need to move into a full-blown AI career where they code.
Okay.
There are so many tools that have been built for, all of these specific domains. So a smart thing to do will be to learn the tools that aligns with your specific domain, so that you can stay in your career, but then you'll be well prepared for the future.
That's it.
That's good.
So that's one thing. So we built a company called Wallbridge, and what Wallbridge is doing is basically helping people, especially business leaders, understand and integrate AI into their line of operations. So the website for Wallbridge is www.wallbridge.ai.
Well, as in a W.
Wall. So the name Wallbridge is actually an amalgamation of two locations that influence my thinking, being Wall Street in New York and Cambridge in Massachusetts.
So Wallbridge.
Wallbridge.
Okay.
Yes. Wow.
So it's wallbridge.ai. And if they want to reach directly to me, it's Rachel@wallbridge.ai.
Yes.
So everything is AI.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I will hope to hear from as many people who want to learn about AI. And you don't have to be fluent when you reach out to me. All you can say is, I want to learn about AI, and we'll be able to help you.
Take it from there. Oh my God. I want to learn from AI. I really want to. Thank you so much for joining us. As I said, please, next week, from Monday to Friday, we'll be in Overcoming Faith Ministry in the Bronx. My mom's church for equipping the saints, the summer edition, and I think that it will help you if you want God to use you for revival. You want to be part of it. But July the 26th is Saturday at 4. We are going to have a special edition of Woman of Influence, and we are talking about relationship, the wonderful side and the hurting aspect. I think it's going to be a blessing to you. So save your date on that. And thank you so much for all of you for joining. I thank you for your questions, and thank you so much for coming. It has been a very good classroom today. I hope you are inspired, that you get something out of this. Bishop, you have something to say before we go?
Now we know AI is not a demon, it's an intelligent system to help you improve your life. So I'm well educated. I've just picked up some stuff that I think I need to do. One of them, the translation from English to Spanish and all of that. I'm trying to see how I can reach more people for Jesus. So anything that makes it easier and makes my reach go further, I'm all for it. So thank you again, Rachel, for that. And I hope you learned something. God bless you.
So before we go, people want her information to be typed in the chat. Ladies, can we do that? Yeah, before we cut it. Can you repeat it again, please?
So,
Wallbridge.
Yeah.
www.wallbridge.ai. And then Rachel.
Rachel@wallbridge.ai.
Yes.
Okay.
For the email.
Yes. Yeah, for the email. And all that you have to do is, I want to know who AI is.
Learn more about it.
Learn more about it. And I personally, I think it will help with some of the things that we do. So if you're a business, you're a small business, you're in business, your career, everything, I mean, she will take her time to help you in the field that you are in, so you can be smarter like her. Okay, so that is the most important thing. So thank you so much for joining, and I want to take this opportunity to thank Anita too for connecting me to her big sister. So thank you so, so much. All right.
Hey, Mama Caroline learned about AI. She said, thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
Mama Caroline, you got to let me know what you learn about AI, what you are going to do. She's a retired seamstress who used to have a school to teach people. Maybe she will learn new things about AI. All right, God bless you guys all. We'll see you next week.
Next week.
Thank you for taking time out to join us today. We pray that today's discussion will encourage and help you moving forward as a man or woman of influence. We look forward to seeing you next week as we explore another topic of interest. The preceding program is sponsored by the partners and friends of Women of Influence and Grace Place TV. For more information on the Women of Influence show, please visit our website at www.womenofinf.com or follow us on our various social media platforms. You can watch our past episodes on our Women of Influence YouTube channel. Please be sure to like and subscribe. If you have a question, comment, inquiry, or testimony, we would like to hear from you. Feel free to email us. This show will not be possible without the support of viewers like you. If you would like to partner with us or donate to the Women of Influence show, you may do so by any of the provided mediums. Thank you.
Women of Influence.